Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video game review. Recent release here on Steam known as Colonial Conquest. I played the game quite a little bit, and I can honestly say for the price it's a fantastic video game. Of course, you know, I always expect a little too much out of games like these, but for the price this game's excellent, and hopefully I can give it a good review today. So this is the main screen. Your settings are in the upper left hand corner. To exit the game is over here in the upper right. You can load your game here, new game, and then continue last game. Pretty basic screen here, but before I give you my overall ratings, I'm just going to kind of walk you through the game and tell you how everything works. Now, as you can hear the audio in the background. The music is really cool. Each country has its own music when you're playing one of the 6 countries that you can play as. So we're going to go ahead and start a new game. Now you have 3 options at the top of scenarios. You can start in the 1880s, race for the colonies. You can start in 1914, the brink of war, or standard, which is the 6 major countries only control their home regions at the beginning of the game. So we are actually going to do this review in standard mode. You can actually change the difficulty of the game. Standard, the AI will not receive any advantages, and hard, the AI will receive a few specific advantages. And then the victory points objective, you actually can set it to infinite. That way, basically the game will not end until all the other countries are destroyed, which is a fantastic thing. And another fantastic feature is, this is one of the, excuse me, one of those games you actually can have multiple people playing with you. Like I could have 4 people come sit with me at this computer and play the game with me. And of course we're not doing that. They're all going to be AI characters. We are actually going to play as the United States. All the other countries will be AI. And let's see. I want to shut the music off, and I'll probably have to do that in game, but basically you press start and the game is ready to go. Pretty basic features, but for the price, this game I think is excellent. Now, when you start the game, basically you get you get to do any of these options, and I believe you only get to do them once every 4 turns. It might be 5, it might be 3, give or take a little. But basically you can spy on countries, which will let you see how many troops are in the region. You can build forces, and there are only 2 basic forces in the game, land and naval. You can fortify regions that you capture. You can do subversions. You can spend money to corrupt a region's government to take it over. Basically it destroys some of the armies that are stationed there. You can give economic help to different areas. Move forces is a option that you can do every turn, and then information that's just an icon. Anyway, here you can see when you start in standard, here is the United States. It is the year of 1870, and Ulysses S. Grant is president, the 18th president of the United States. So a quick synopsis of how the game works. If you click on a region, you see we have 3 options. Build forces. This is one of the options that will not be available every turn. It's only every 3 to 5 turns. I can't remember the exact number. I'm sorry about that. But you'll see what I mean here in a minute. You can click on build forces. Since we clicked on the eastern region of the United States, this is where they'll be built. I can set this to maximum on the land units, and it'll make 300 army units. Or we can make a maximum of 90 military units. Now, in order to transport units across the ocean, you have to have 1 ship per unit. So I have 40 ships here, so only 40 of these infantry can be moved. Now, there is one downside that I do not like. I mean, overall, I love this game so far. It reminds me a lot of Risk, kind of a little bit more buffed up version of Risk, because basically there's not very much politics in the game, so that is a negative, but it's not that big of a negative. You're basically just trying to conquer the map, and there are 6 major powers in the game, and you are one of them. And the other countries here, they actually are countries, but they aren't considered major powers. like I was saying, the major drawback, I mean, it can make things easy, but it can also make things hard. Infantry units can only move one space. For example, when I click on the Eastern US and click to move forces, I'll select Southern US, and to move the land units, I just select this to the maximum, and it'll move those 49 units to the Southern United States. And just kind of like in Risk, it leaves one unit behind to kind of watch over the region, which is not very useful because there are very large armies in the game. But we're going to go ahead and end our turn. Actually, no, we're not. Sorry. We're going to go to the build phase. We're going to build 100 units and 15 ships. It's not really worth it, but just for the sake of doing it. There you can see the units are instantly placed and the ships are instantly placed. Another thing we could do, click on Mexico, click spy. It costs 200,000 euros to spy on them. It tells us they have 88 units. They have a +2 defense to their fire because of mountain, and they have no fleets in the region. Now, the information's not always reliable, but this is the only way you can spy on the nation and figure out how many units they have. And you can only do this once every 4 turns. Actually, I can spy on as many nations as I want this turn since I had the option. But once you end the turn, then you'll have to wait for about 3 or 4 turns. So we go to the next phase. Get ready for combat, click to close. It's going to show all the other countries that are fighting. There you can see Germany took over that. Germany took over that. Our troops moved to the south. And those are actually 20 of the enemies that died and 5 of the Japanese that died. 33 of the Norwegians died, 20 of the Romans attacking, 15 of the Norwegians. That little flame means the battle was not successful for the attacker. I think those are the French that took control of that. The Japanese took control of that. And the Germans, I think, nope, those are the French. The French, ironically, took control of Panama. Now, if you go up here to the flags, it'll tell you what each country is at war with who. As far as I know, once you're at war with a country, you can't declare peace or anything, so that's kind of a negative. There are no political aspects of the game. So once you declare war on someone, you better be ready to do it. Now, real quickly, I'm going to show you how these ships work. You can only move units one space, one tile at a time. But you click on the land that the ship's next to, move forces, and you can click anywhere on the map. Like, let's say I want to go to the Horn of Africa. I can click 55 ships to go, and then only 55 units can go because there are only 55 ships to support them. And when we end our turn, 55 men will go to attack the Horn of Africa. We can order our men to attack Mexico. End turn. And as you can see, we are taking quite a bit of damage, but they are too. And it ended up being a stalemate. We actually lost. Looks like it might be in Mexico too. And actually, no, we took control of Mexico. So in about 3 or 4 turns, you'll be allowed to do that option that lets you fortify the region and the option that lets you build more units, but you can't do that until that turn comes around. If you click here, there's no option to build more units. So that's basically how the game works. You can set it to infinite mode, or you can set it to a certain victory points to win, and you can actually check that here in the flag section. So, overall, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the least and 5 being the greatest, I am basing this off of 4 different categories. I give this game a 4 on graphics. The graphics are not that bad. for such a cheap game. It's obviously a game that did not have a lot of funding. I think they did a good job with the graphics. 5.0 on the audio, because the music you're hearing right now is actually like US music. If you're playing as England, there'd be English music. If you play as Germany, you would have German music, etc., etc. So I give it a 5 on audio. I also give it a 5 on fun. This is a game that you can get addicted to and play for hours. And as for reality is my last point. I give it a 3.9. That's the only thing that I really criticize it, is because mainly the ships. I don't think it's right that you can send a ship all the way around the world in one turn. I think that's a little bit overpowered. So, anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to stay up to date, and I will see you later.